video walkthrough for your creating your color scheme assignment. So hopping on week 3, we're going to Thursday and Friday. This is what we're going to work on. You're going to create your color scheme, and you should be able to pop up the assignment on here, and then wait for it to pop up. And then you're going to go to the following website. So I'm going to click on this link and then show you where you need to go. It says it's just Personal Color Viewer, which is where you want to be. You could start with your own photo, but it's more complicated and it's easy enough just to choose one. So, we're going to be multiple, but we're going to start with a few. And notice on here you need to do a different moon for each color scheme. These are your options. You don't have to do all of these. You have, I think, 5 that you're required to do, if I remember correctly. But when you start the project, make sure that you're clicking on ones that have good options for you. So, like on here, I can select from a bunch of different bedrooms because that's what I'm picking. But I want it, when I click on it, I want to make sure I have a lot of options of colors to change so I can work with a lot. I also need to keep in mind I need to work with the accessories that are in there, because the accessories you can't change, and that could totally throw off your color scheme. So like if I click on this one, I only have 3 color options that I can change. And I have these right here. I have like these violet and maybe like that one's hard to tell, but it's like maybe a pink of some kind on here. I can't change those colors on that bed. There's a few things sitting on the floor. That's okay if you don't count that. That just looks like toys, or I don't know what it is, but that's not really a part of, you wouldn't normally just leave stuff on the floor and be like, here's my design kind of thing. But the actual things that are part of your color scheme, like the duvet and the duvet cover and this little throw, do need to be a part of it. Things that are on like decoration here. Notice this plant. The plant is green, but plants you can make a part of your color scheme, or you can kind of have that separate. That's kind of the exception to it. So if I'm doing this color scheme, I have to keep that violet in mind and make that a part of it. Okay. I also have like this blue-violet going on. And so this is where too, then it's helpful to have my color wheel to work with. So if I'm looking at my color wheel, I can say, okay, with the accessories that I already have in this room, I clearly have violet, right? And then it looks like I have some blue-violet in that artwork piece in the back. So maybe it makes sense to do an analogous color scheme. So maybe I would do blue paint, or I would do a red-violet paint, or something along those lines to get that to happen. And so I would scroll over, you see in here, there's designer classic colors. You can change what you're in. I'm just going to stay on here. But I'm going to go over to more of the blues. And then maybe my walls, I'm going to change and make that more of a blue. Okay, I don't like that one. This is where I'm going to kind of mix it up and see what else I can find. Maybe I want something a little more subdued. It's not so like pow in my face, right? So then I put that one in there. That looks a little better to me. Okay, but I would play around with this and make it look appealing. I'd also don't maybe love this color, but maybe I want it a little more, I could put it like in the more gray family, but I still want some like lighter colors, and this is where maybe I want this one instead. Okay, it's a little more light. I can also kind of change stuff up to be the look that I want. Okay, but notice I'm doing this, I'm working in this like same family as these. Okay, when I'm done, I'd still tweak and play around with this, but when I'm done, I copy my image, or remember, you can screenshot it, and there's instructions to do that. I think I have that earlier. I can also try to throw it in this week. Too, because you have to do that, but I can take that, then I scroll down, and I go, that's not my monochromatic one. That would be a good example of my analogous, and then there's my picture in there. Okay, I can make it a little smaller, but don't make it too little because I need to be able to see stuff. And then from here, I'd have to identify the colors from the color wheel. So this is where, and it's not the paint chips. I get a lot of times people that want to put this as Mistral. This is cloud white. Okay, don't do that. I want to know the colors from the color wheel, so I'm going to say it's violet accessories. Or if I have multiple colors of accessories, I would point that out, right? And violet, like blankets and duvet. I would have blue wall, which I really should because I have my artwork. I have blue wall, and I have blue violet art. Okay, that's what I'm looking for. That's not the names of the actual paint chips. It's what actual colors are they. Okay, so the name, if you name the paint chips, I don't know that you know what that means. Okay, so that's what you do. And then you just keep and do the same thing for each thing. So then you're like, okay, I got my list. Now maybe I want to focus on my monochromatic. Okay, monochromatic would be harder to do with this because there's already like different kind of stuff, shades and tints on there. So that's where you really need to be watching out for that piece. Bathrooms usually don't have a lot to work with, so maybe you can do like a complementary room or accent and neutral, or those might be easier to do in there. Maybe I'm going to pick a dining room now because I don't want to do a bunch of bedrooms. I need to do different rooms for each one. And I can maybe find, maybe I click on this one. No, it's only giving me 3, and it's also giving me kind of a few things I'm going to have to work around, and I don't want that. I want it kind of look totally neutral. I don't know why it won't just let me go back to new bedrooms. There's probably a way. So I'll click on Start Project. And then I'm going to look coastal. That gives me a nice, I'm looking at this coastal one. It gives me, looks like a nice background, but then again, see, I only have 2 options. That's not going to work with my monochromatic. Okay. Now, I can just go back to the one, choose a sample. And that's how I do it. So now I'm going to try this casual dining room. I've got some green in there, but it's pretty easy. This one's a good one, right? Now I'm looking, oh, look, there's 4 things I can change on here if I need to. Okay, so this would be a good option for like monochromatic or triad or any of those when you're not using the accessories to be part of it. But you can always do that too. So on here, like I could take, and this is where I want you to think about like taste level. If I was going to do, it says this affinity color palette on here. This isn't going to probably give me exactly what I want, but maybe it is. Maybe I'm going to keep that yellow, okay? But then maybe on this bottom wall, maybe I'm doing a different, like I can do a like different yellow. Okay, yellow to me is a hard one to do. Maybe I do a green or a blue-green, but I would change them, but not all of them. Still keep some neutrals. I could just change 3 of them out of the 4, right? And this is where it's a little hard because you got to go back and kind of find the row that you're working on. But I could change that to like a blue. And then here I want to change it. Oh, I want a lighter version. Gives me that monochromatic look. Okay, and then I have like the trim and the ceiling. So maybe I'm going to change my trim, and then my trim goes more to that color. And then I have more of the monochromatic look. That makes sense. So by doing that. But again, see how I need to have a lot of colors to work with to make it still look good and having a lot of neutrals in the other areas. Otherwise, that monochromatic look gets like too much. So find a room that has something like that. Okay, if I wanted to do something, if I'm looking at like triad or something like that, this is a really good way to do that too. Just have a room like this. Reminder, you can't use the same room twice. You gotta keep finding different rooms. But if I'm showing you, like I could take this and go, okay, I'm gonna make that like a red. Maybe I don't want that. That would look a little weird. Okay, I'm gonna do more of a red color on the wall. I'm going to do maybe a little blue color. Oh, maybe I just keep that blue, right? And then my trim, maybe I'm going to do that more in my yellow. Okay, this looks to me really bright, really bold, and it doesn't really fit with what's in the rest of the room. So this is where I need to make some changes for like taste level, right? So I think the yellow might be okay. So I'm going to kind of work on the other ones, but maybe I get a little more subdued kind of reds, right? Maybe I'm going to try this one instead. one's looking less red, but it's still kind of a brownish red. That might work a little bit better. For my blues, maybe I want to tone my blue down also, see what that does for me. Okay, that's looking a little blue-gray, but this is where, this is super important when you're putting these in here, that like if this is your triad, like if you did this for a triad, don't have triad in there, that's where it's so important that you've identified that that's your like light, like a really light blue. Okay, whereas if you don't do that, you give me the color chip, that I can't tell that you knew the difference. Okay, but this is kind of how, and now I'm looking at this and that yellow is a bit much for me too, right? So maybe I tone that down if I can. See, if I go all the way over here, that's not the same. This is like in the green family, so you gotta be careful kind of where you're at and sticking in more of a yellow. I don't know if I just pick the same, I think I just picked the same one. That one might be a little bit better in the yellow family. It's getting a little orangey though, so I might need to like go in, click on the actual yellows, and then kind of see where I fit. I want to find something light, but that's still like within that. Okay, that's a little brighter than I want. Okay, maybe I pick this. So just play around with it. Like that to me fits, right? It's still in that little yellow family, but it's more toned down. Okay. If you want though, you can have like bright rooms. I'm not saying, don't leave them. Notice it says you like to save. If you haven't logged in and created your own login, you can't save. I'm going to hit no. But like, if you have already some bright accessories and accents, this is a nice one. Keep like this insert can be changed, but notice like these teal, which is like a blue-green, I can't change those, so I got to work with that. Okay, so keep that in mind when you're doing your color scheme. And you can just go, okay, like a blue, that's a blue-green. I can work with that. Now maybe I make an accented neutral out of it, and I use an orange and a red in some stuff. Like it depends on what you're going for and you're looking for. Okay, and you're just going to keep doing that. Do the triad, do complementary, split complementary. And this is where you have some enrichment credit opportunities. You can do the accented neutral, achromatic, tetradic, and then square. So those are your options, and do additional pieces. Okay, when you're done, you can submit it and just let me know if you have any questions. Just again, you're making sure you're doing each of those, and then enrichment credit on the bottom. A reminder, what are the colors from the color wheel, not the paint chip.